This is the Masters of Fitness podcast.
Welcome to the Masters of Fitness podcast, episode 31, Fresh Foods and Healthy Living, with Rebekah Maxwell and Becki Stedman. How y'all doing today?
Just great. Thank
Just
you.
great?
Yep.
Good. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good. Excited because, we hadn't been a while. We hadn't been in the studio for a while. Why is that? Why we hadn't been in the studio for a while?
We've been a little busy, Ernest.
I heard this is the premiere of y'all's new season, right? With
Yep.
the podcast?
Yes, this is actually season 3 premiere right here. So
I feel special, Becki, that we're the season
should.
premiere.
Very
should.
special.
y'all the first guest. But for those who don't know or haven't been following us for the past couple of months, we decided to jump off a bridge and open a gym.
Yep.
So
We dove in head first.
dove in head first, and actually Rebekah helps us a lot with the gym as well too. So with her marketing skills, kind of help us get ourselves off the ground. So it's fitting that you would be our first guest on the show as well too. So
Y'all are doing a great job. It's
we're
great to see
trying,
it grow.
we trying. So of course our gym is Master Fitness Core Performance Gym.
That's us, the core performance.
Core Performance. We call our athletes core athletes. We try to stay on brand with what we do, and we located on 6742 Westwood Boulevard.
That's it.
We've done a lot of changes to the gym, and hopefully we can get some content together whenever we get some time. I didn't realize how busy it was being a small business owner, but it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, a lot of fussing, digging, figuring this thing out. But I think we kind of got our fingers on it, right?
Yeah, I think I finally got everything arranged in the gym to where I don't feel like I have to move everything around when I walk in the door.
Hey,
So-
if you got that in 6 months or less, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, he's
been working
done,
hard, man.
Yeah, he's done a good job getting everything lined out. We call him the head maintenance guy,
Yeah.
everything. Thad's been getting it situated, getting it lined out. So, but we here. Now we're back.
Yep, we're ready to go now.
We're ready to go for season 3. Like I said, hopefully in the future we'll come out with some content kind of detailing our story a little bit more in regards to what we did, our journey along the way. But today is all about these young ladies over here. So welcome to the show and
Thank you.
introduce yourselves. I don't think I could do you guys justice. Y'all introduce yourselves to the people.
Okay, well, I'm Becki Stedman, and I'm the co-founder of the Beaumont Farmers Market. We started in 2010, and we've been rolling ever since for 12 years, and we're very excited about that. I personally love farmers markets. When I travel, I seek them out. I would rather be at a farmer's market than playing golf with my husband. So I think that says a lot.
Man, she must like that farmer's market a lot if she likes it better than playing golf.
And I remember when it first started, I would pass by College Street in the morning because my daughter played softball on Saturdays at the place. I say, what are all these people doing over there? Why they, what's all this space? What's going on? Then I actually realized, hey, it's a farmer's market. That's actually
Right.
pretty cool. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we started. I guess I should let you introduce yourself next.
Well, I'll say,
that's all right. We just roll
I'm
it. We
just
just
saying,
roll it.
yeah,
We'll roll with it. Well, I will say, since you mentioned Thad's kind of the catch-all at the gym, if you imagine Becki, she loves farmers market so much she brought it here to Beaumont, and then she ran it. Her and co-founder Sarah had to run a small business for almost over 11 years. So that's just how much she loves the farmers market. So I'm thankful. I came onto the farmers market officially in January. I had shopped at the market before, but I'm Rebekah Maxwell. I'm a social media and marketing consultant here in Southeast Texas, and then came on as market manager for the farmers market in January. First employee, part-time employee for the market, and but we got a gracious grant to allow us to do that, to be able to grow the market.
And she's the best employee we've ever had.
The bar is pretty low since you've never had one. But
But as you know, with her social media skills, they're phenomenal. So we're
Yeah.
really happy to have her.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Right.
So you said you had a love for farmers markets. Where did that start? Like, how did it come about?
Well, I hate to say, I love fresh food. I love the outdoors, exercise. Goes along with what you all do. But I love my community. So that was something that was lacking in Beaumont. We did not have a farmer's market at the current time. I don't know if you all remember, but there have been several markets in Beaumont. A long time ago, I've lived here for nearly 43 years. There was a market out by Babes Harris under the bridge there, and many of our vendors started there like 40 years ago. So Beaumont has a history of markets, but we just didn't have one in 2009 when Sarah and I ran into each other in a parking lot. And we just started visiting our boys at that time had moved out of Beaumont. They were probably not coming back. And we just felt like Beaumont needed something to attract more people here.
Yeah.
So we talked about markets and how much we loved them. Then a few days later, she called me and she said, you know, Becki, I think we're being called to start a farmer's market. And I said, oh, Sarah. It's 2009.
So called as in just like she just felt that in her
felt
spirit.
Sarah is a very spiritual woman. God is very important to her.
That's important in life.
He is very important. And so I just said, Sarah, I just don't think I'm getting that call. My schedule, my life. And she said, well, look, I've called this man from Houston. He's going to come and consult with us as to how to start a farmer's market. And I said, okay, well, when? Well, when I looked at my calendar, that was the only day, the only afternoon I had free. So I kind of thought, okay, maybe we are getting this call. So we brought Ray in. He consulted with us. We looked through Beaumont, different locations. My family that I married into, they had a produce business in downtown Beaumont. I wanted downtown Beaumont to start thriving again, hoping that this could happen. So we thought we'd locate downtown, and the city worked with us, and our first location was in front of the public library on Main Street, across from the Civic Center. And that year we had about 6 vendors at the time. We ended up with 18. But the fun part was searching for those vendors. From 2009 until we opened in May of 2010, we drove farm to market roads up and down, and if you were on a tractor, we flagged you down and we stopped to visit with you.
So you mean to tell me when y'all got this thing started, y'all literally went from just across Texas or just Southeast Texas?
Well, we defined our local as a 150-mile radius.
Okay.
So we started looking around, and we literally got in our cars and drove up to Jasper. We drove to Kirbyville. We drove all around. We went and visited markets in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Houston. We talked to farmers, and from one farmer we got a brother's name who gave us another name, and that's kind of how we got started.
So it was a lot of groundwork.
It was a lot of groundwork, and it was a lot of fun at the time because we were learning. We were so silly.
Yeah, I could see that being a lot of fun, though.
Inexperience.
I can see that.
So you got any interesting stories from y'all trips harassing folks about to join the market?
No, actually, we're like a family. These farmers are just some of the coolest, kindest, most generous people you'll ever meet. They work hard. They're exactly what you think of as a farmer. And when we first started, because we are more organized than the older 40-year-ago market where you pulled into your stall, first come, first serve, get there at 4 in the morning. We're organized. We specify where you're going to be. We don't open until 8 o'clock in the morning. Because of COVID, when COVID happened, we had to not allow people into the market until we opened because of social distancing.
Wow, okay.
And we found that our farmers like that. Mm-hmm. And it gives them more time to get set up and not be
rushed
and talk to their customers, although we want our customers to visit with the vendor and vice versa, but just not while they're setting up.
Yeah.
So you said you originally started off with 6.
We did.
6. And what were those 6 people?
Well, we had Mr. Gentz with the Longhorn cattle, and we had the Hattons. We had several produce, and then we had no jellies and no baked breads or any stuff like that at the time because the Texas cottage food laws had not come into effect. And so we had to be very careful about value-added foods is what we call them. So lots of growers. 6 of them ended up with 18 by the end of that season. We only went from May through October. Then every year we started growing, and now we're open 50 weeks a year. We close 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that cottage law?
Sure. It's now you can bake from your home. You can produce jellies, salsas, breads, certain prepared foods that have, with the salsas and the pickled things, a certain acidic level And you can sell them now at a farmer's market or out of your home without having to have a health permit or the health department coming in to inspect your kitchen.
Gotcha.
And typically those are things that don't have to be refrigerated, and so
Right.
you don't have that concern.
Right.
That's interesting.
Well, it's helped us a lot. We did, the first year we found a woman up in Jasper, and you can find her at HEB right now. As you walk in the main entrance, she'll be immediately to your left. It's called Sutton Sweets.
Okay.
And she was permitted and licensed and insured, all the things we needed. And so for the first few years, until the cottage food laws came about, she was our jelly and pickle person. And now she's grown into a different type of a business, a bigger business.
Well, you got some good bread out there. I know that.
We have great bread.
Those girls out there with that the raspberry bread and all that stuff.
I love raspberry bread.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
If you're not being healthy that day, their cinnamon rolls are a big hit, but they're huge, so you can take one and split it between about 4 people probably.
Exactly.
We went over there after the endurance class a couple of weeks ago, and I walked out of there with a big old raspberry roll. That thing was big as a plate.
You were carving up.
Yeah.
My wife sent me a picture. She know I love cane syrup or whatever.
Oh.
And she sent me a picture. I got to go by the farmer's market and get you this. I'll eat that like candy. I love
Brand
that
new
stuff.
vendor.
Yeah.
He actually sold out this past Saturday.
Really?
It was his second week at the market, and he sold completely out by, I think it was 9:30.
That's the good stuff.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a real good thing. It's fun to see these new vendors come in and people take an interest in our market. It's really been growing. So when we finished that first year, we had 18 vendors. And sadly, downtown's not a popular Saturday morning destination.
Yes.
So we decided we needed to move. So in 2011, we moved to our current location there on College at the athletic complex.
So y'all was downtown for a year,
Yes.
and then decided to relocate to. How was that? Is there any logistics stuff you had to do with moving, or would you just pick up and move?
Well, thank you, City of Beaumont. That's what I can say. We looked around at different parks, and you would think it would be easy to locate in just any parking lot or space. But, for example, if we moved into a church parking lot, just for example, and they had a funeral or some event on that Saturday, we would have to relocate. And that's not something you can do. It's a business that we're
It's hard to do
operating.
that. Yeah, people know where your business at, and you
Right.
have to relocate every weekend. It becomes a hassle.
Right.
Shoot, y'all hit a home run with your location now, though.
We have hit
That's
a home
perfect.
run.
No, yeah, you see it. I mean, there's traffic on College Street
Yeah.
all throughout the day.
And
Yep.
it's covered.
It's covered. Yes, that's the key. Covered.
No tents.
So how much has it grown over the years?
Well, like I said, we started with 6 vendors. Now we typically have 18 to 20 every Saturday. And I think we've expanded.
We actually have about 26 that are coming in every Saturday now.
Really?
We have a total of about 30 on the books, but some of those are seasonal vendors who don't come in
Okay.
every part of the season. They may just come for a couple weeks or a month or so. For example, tomatoes, we have a vendor who comes in for about 6 weeks and sells tomatoes, but they're a seasonal vendor.
That was my next question, saying that y'all go year round mostly. How is it in and out with the vendors? Do you have certain vendors some season? Do they get their spots back when it comes around? So how does that work, regulating all that stuff?
Most of our regular vendors who are with us every week have an outside location, so they get
Okay.
to pull in. If they're seasonal and we don't have a space, Rebekah locates them in the center of the
Okay.
market.
Okay.
And
So-
even for those in the center, if they are going to be planning to come every week for a period of time, we try to keep them in the same spot or the
Okay.
same general area so that their customers know where they're going to be at.
that's
It's
a good
amazing.
idea.
Even if you shift them just 10 or 20 feet, people get confused. And
I mean, we have one track. We have so
Yep.
much going on. Our minds
Yep.
don't like to work hard.
Exactly.
They like to see exactly where it's at.
yeah.
So what does it take to be a vendor? Do you have to fill out an application, or you have to be approved?
Yep, you do have to fill out an application. You have to be approved. We are run as a nonprofit, so we're a nonprofit organization, and we have a board of directors who approves our new vendors who are coming in. Or I'll work with Becki, who's our board president this year, if we have a unique situation where we have a vendor with a unique item that's going to come in. But typically, a lot of our long-term vendors we're looking at, they'll be approved by the board. There is a $25 non-refundable application fee that goes
Okay.
along with that. What we have more interest than we could ever fit inside the basketball court. But as Becki has mentioned earlier, we focus on that produce piece,
Okay.
and we get a lot of compliments from our shoppers and from the the community that they like seeing that produce in the market.
Oh, yeah.
So we keep a heavy product mix of having that really those growers, so those items that they're growing, garden items, produce items, and so we don't take in a whole lot of other types of baked goods and things like that. So we try to keep a good product mix.
Okay, that sounds. So what is the ultimate goal of the Beaumont Farmers Market?
We might get in trouble by the board if we start sharing our.
Well, I mean, not.
No, we
well,
have.
I mean, like,
we've talked
what is,
about some big picture ideas, but
well, not. I wouldn't not necessarily ideas, but holistically, what do you want people to think of when they think of the Beaumont Farmers Market? What type of impact would you guys like to have on the surrounding communities?
I'd like people to understand that it's important to shop locally and support your community. It's the money. You think about it this way with our growers and our vendors who travel. Number one, you come and shop with them, and they continue to come to the market because you're supporting them. Every time they leave, they're probably purchasing gas, groceries, eating lunch, because most of them come from at least 30 minutes, if not 2 hours away. And money goes back into our community, and I think that's just very, very important. Whether you're shopping a farmer's market or any local business, it's shop local.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
It just seems, I don't want to say cooler, but it just seems better knowing where you get your food from.
Well, and that's actually a big piece with the health aspect, right? Something that's interesting in talking to so many of our vendors and getting to know them, especially our growers, if you look at like the USDA and having to be certified organic, there is so much paperwork and funds that have to be expended to make that happen. But if you talk to our vendors about how they grow their items, most of them are actually growing organic.
Yeah.
So you can actually purchase organic produce at a very reasonable cost at the farmer's market and all local.
That you know and trust.
Exactly. And I've noticed when I purchase certain items like produce, it actually lasts so much longer in my home before I even use it compared to what you get in the store.
Yep.
So there's that health aspect.
Yeah, it hadn't traveled all over the face of the earth to get to the grocery store.
Yeah. And on the flip side, for our bread vendors or other types of baked goods, on the flip side, it doesn't last as long because it doesn't have as many preservatives in it.
Right.
So you can, you can freeze the bread or freeze certain products if you're not going to use it, or you can just eat it. Right.
Just eat it.
Right.
Well, I think environmentally, we've touched on it, but there's 10 million tons of plastic in the ocean.
Yeah.
Our farmers are not packaging their foods like that. The air quality is affected because we're not traveling across the country bringing food in. So there's just lots of things that...
Just improving that carbon footprint.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think it's when you go to the store, it seems like now they know it's a buzzword to say organic or say fresh grown or grass fed. So just stamping on everything, and you get confused of what everything can't be organic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but like I say, but at the farmer's market, what you could actually talk to the guy that picked this that week or that day and brought it there fresh, and it's taste a lot better.
Yeah. And that goes back to your question actually about becoming a vendor. So we very rarely allow any type of resale of our products, especially the produce. You have to be growing those items yourself and bringing it into the market.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a farmer's market otherwise.
Exactly.
Don't tell me people try to do that.
If you add, yes, people try to do that. Becky's got some stories.
I've got stories.
But you also,
Definitely.
if you start Googling it, there are so many different news stories where different farmers markets were either had a bad reputation because they weren't vetting the vendors they were bringing in.
Yep.
So how do y'all vet? Without going into too much detail, how do y'all vet y'all
we
people?
visit.
We go visit our
Visit.
vendors.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good.
We visit every kitchen, every farm, every place.
and
That's good to know. I mean, and really, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that y'all go through that much trouble to make sure that it's a legit source.
We go see them typically once a year.
I'll be dang.
Yep.
That's cool.
So we had one question. It's from my buddy Adam. He asked would there be a discount code for the goat soap
Dang, we should have brought some and raffled it off or
at
something.
the end of the episode. So don't pay him no mind.
That goat soap it's a fan favorite.
Yep,
It
it
is.
is. Actually, my dad has sensitive skin, and he loves that because he can use their soap so he
Goat
doesn't
soap.
have a reaction.
Explain this
Yep.
to me.
It's made out of goat's
Goat milk.
milk.
Huh.
Yep. come see Sherry with Botanicals on Saturday. She actually just got some beard balm that came in this past week. New item. I should have brought you some. Yeah.
I need to make a point to go to the farmers market and just because I like that stuff. I like spending money on fresh foods because you like to eat fresh. I like to eat healthy.
Yes.
So.
Well, and you'll find different foods. We have David and Shirley Bracken, and she is she's not from Asia, she's from the Polynesians somewhere.
Okay.
But she grows some of the most interesting foods, squashes and things, and she'll tell you how to cook it and what to do with it. And she has a following of people who come in and purchase just from her. So you do find different things. And going back to getting to know your grower, ask them to grow certain foods. If you're not seeing something, like I love beets, but I don't necessarily like red beets. So now you're starting to see more white and golden beets in our market because we simply asked and they're starting to produce them.
And if you don't know how to cook with something that you see, ask your vendor, right? Because then you get in conversation, they give you all sorts of ideas.
Oh, yeah. I've talked to quite a few of those people out there, especially the guys all the way in the back corner that sell the tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
All the way in that back right-hand corner.
Yep.
Really nice guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, but do they
Painted
have lots? Is that Jean?
I think that's Gene with Painted Angels.
Him and his son.
Yes.
That's Painted Angels, yep.
Right.
I've never seen a white or golden beet in my life. You said different types.
Went out there and seen.
You said different type of beets. I only thought there was one type of beet.
Hey.
No, but you won't find them now because they're out of season.
Out of season. Oh, okay.
So that's something for shoppers to keep in mind, and everybody, all of your audience to keep in mind is you're going to come into the market in different times of the years. You will find different things.
And that was my next question.
Yep.
And is there a dummies guide for farmers market shopping?
We're working on that.
Yeah, meaning like knowing like, hey, these are the things that I can find this in season or that, stuff like that. 'Cause, at the store it's all super processed. You get anything anytime that you want it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're actually working on that. There are a couple different things we've been really working on, focusing on this year. We're about to go through a whole website revamp, and that's part of that. We want to have a list of, okay, if you're coming in the spring, this is what to expect. Or if you're looking, we're going to have hopefully 2 different kinds of lists. If you're coming in the spring, here's what to expect. Or if you want to get beets, here's the time of year you need to come in. So.
Do you have like cattle, people who bring in?
Oh, we do.
Okay.
We can cover all your protein needs. We have 2.
So I ain't gonna lie. I love produce. I love vegetables, but I'm a protein guy. I need
get your meat.
I need the meat, the chicken, the beef, the steaks. Yeah, I'm a carnivore by heart.
Yes, we have 2 vendors, Wilder, Texas, and Gent's Cattle Company. They sell 2 different kinds of meat, both raised locally. Then we have
Lone Star Sustainable Farm has pork and your chicken products. And then we also have actually shrimp, so you can get Texas Gulf shrimp at the market too. Actually, I just had that for lunch today. So
that lady usually has some fairly large shrimp out there.
She does.
Now with the is there like you have to pre-order? Can I just first come first serve?
You can do both.
Okay.
You can get on their websites and pre-order,
and then pick it up at the farmer's
market, or you can just show up.
If you're looking for a particular cut of meat, I would definitely call them ahead of time. If it's Father's Day weekend, I had a special meal that I had planned.
Some tomahawk.
So
72-ounce steaks.
There you go. Hey, give them a call. They'll do something. Usually, if you ask them for a particular cut, for example, for Father's Day, I had a particular meal in mind, and talking to Rachel with Wild Earth, she was like, "Well, I don't usually do that, but I will." Since you're ordering it.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. She actually did a special order for what I was doing.
Okay, and before we go too far, what is the website if people could check out the farmers market?
BeaumontFarmersMarket.org.
Easy enough.
Easy.
Beaumont
Very
Farmers
simple.
Market.
Find
Like I
us
said,
on Facebook too or Instagram.
We'll have all that information on the website as well. But I just kind of like to reiterate that throughout the show. BeaumontFarmersMarket.org.
That's it.
And on the website, will they have a list of all the vendors that are there, current vendors?
Yep.
Okay.
And their phone numbers too.
All right. Now when I put in this order of beef,
There you go.
Well, and we're starting to put recipes. Will be on our revamped.
That's cool.
Website.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have a few, but they're old.
Yeah.
But I love to cook from the farmers market and come up with things. In fact, I'm starting to create a fig and beef kebab. So I know because
Figs.
well, figs are in season right now. So I thought, why not try something? And
We needed you dinner.
I know.
I spent years watching my grandmother make fig preserves.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that big pot out. She would just make preserves, and I was like, "Grandma, where are you getting all these figs from?"
Yep.
And it was this time of year, she just make a ton of it.
Yeah.
So
Well, anyway, I'm trying to come up with some recipes that we can put on this website.
Something I think I want to go ahead and tease, and Becki.
Our show is. I wish I had a drop for tease drops, but we don't have a tease drop. So go ahead and.
Well, and we've gotten a few questions about it over the last couple months, and we just recently got approved. I'm looking at Becki for a yes or no.
Becky, she's racking in the brains. Like, okay,
Yes.
can we do this? Can we do this?
Well, there's
Okay.
several, so I'm
yeah.
trying to
Okay.
So this whole year we've been really trying to lay a really strong foundation. So you mentioned the new logo earlier and different things we've been doing. So we were just recently approved for the SNAP program. So that's food benefits with the state. So we're not ready yet. So don't come in asking for it right now. We've got to get some training done, and we have to get equipment ordered. But hopefully, I would say, well, I'm not even going to say a date, but in the near future, we'll put that all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, our website, and then we'll also be revamping our website along with that.
And that's huge, because I always talk about that as like having healthy foods accessible to everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everyone, because it's important. It's important we all eat healthy. Everybody doesn't like you go to the store now, you get a pack of donuts for $1. As compared to like paying all this money for, it's just not convenient for people to eat healthy. But having a farmer's market where people could go and not drive by it and be like, oh, well, I can't afford to go there. I don't have the money or resources. Everybody should be allowed to eat healthy.
Yes.
Yep.
Eating healthy shouldn't be a privilege. It should be a commonality amongst us in a country that we live in.
Yep, exactly.
So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing.
Well, and then to open it up and have everyone in the community feel comfortable to come, and just as we said earlier, have those conversations with our vendors and get exposed to new types of food and things they're not used to cooking with, and then be able to have that experience, and even run into shoppers, because we have shoppers who become friends because they both show up at the same time and they have to wait in line to get in, or or they end up going and have to wait in line at their favorite vendor that day or that week, and so they end up becoming friends there too. So it's a great community.
And you're open at 8 o'clock, right?
We open at 8 o'clock. One thing that I experienced Saturday, and Saturday was a phenomenal day for us. We had over 800 customers, so that's really good. But I was visiting with a woman, and she was standing with her 2-year-old, and she was waiting for her husband. And she said, we've started coming, and we've seen a change. We've seen a lot of new faces since COVID has happened, and that blanket. And she said, I've started bringing my 2-year-old. And I said, really, that's great. She said, I want him to start understanding fresh food and getting to know where it's coming from. We have another family that comes, and they give their older daughter, who I think she's 5, I think you know who I'm talking about, she's on our board.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep.
Her daughter, they give her a little bit of money, and she can spend it anywhere she wants in the market. But she has gotten to the point now where she's gravitating towards the carrots and not always those cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun to watch these children grow up that are coming to our market, and watch them.
And that's the thing with kids. It's like we, as parents, we control what the kids do and what they learn. Like, people make fun of me because if my kids, they'll ask for, we were somewhere, and we had a barbecue at the house for 4th of July. My son came in. He said, Dad, I need a salad. I need something healthy to eat. Everybody looked at him like,
wow.
And everybody looked at him like that was weird. I say, well, no, that's a commonality great. In my house. And my mom, she gets mad because them kids don't drink no soda. All they want is water all the time, because that's what they're used to. So it's kind of that aspect of kids learning.
Yeah.
Your food just don't come from H-E-B.
Exactly.
Like knowing it comes from the cow, the farmer, he did this, and just understanding that process is huge. So. Yeah.
Why don't you, since he mentioned cow, do you want to talk about the milk?
Oh, sure. We have a new vendor who's coming in. They've been with us for a couple of weeks now. So now you can get fresh, raw milk at the market. And that was a legal change that the Texas legislator made in May. It took effect in May, where now you can have a drop-off location. So the catch is you have to order your milk or cream before the market. So you have to have the order ahead of time. It's pre-ordered, but they do drop-off starting at 9:30, so 9:30 to 11 on Saturdays.
So explain to the people, what is raw milk as compared to the milk they get in the store?
And I like to say fresh milk because
fresh,
raw
sounds too bad. Yeah, I don't want no raw milk.
But technically, it's called raw milk. We say raw or fresh raw milk. So it doesn't go through the homogenization process. That's a big word
you
for
to
me to
say.
say. Right. That you would see in a mass-produced dairy. So it is still a licensed dairy and inspected dairy here in Texas. It's Shady Acres Dairy.
Okay.
And they actually get up that morning, Saturday morning, milk the cows, figure out pull out the cream, do their skim milk. They have whole milk, and then they bring it to the market. So that's why they show up 9:30 to 11 for deliveries.
Okay.
But the deal with the Texas law that they changed, you still have to do a pre-order. So then the drop-off location can be anywhere that the customer and the dairy agree on, which can be a farmer's market.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool.
And actually, interesting point, since we're talking a little bit about fitness and for what your background is. Some people, now I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not saying if you have a lactose, allergy or whatever, go talk to your doctor. But some people actually find that their body can process fresh
better.
Raw milk,
Really,
compared to all the production that goes into mass-produced milk.
But they pull all the cream and all that stuff off of it.
Well, the whole milk still has some of the cream. So you may see, we did a Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, actually, because we had some questions about it. You will see a separation in the whole milk. If you leave it set like overnight, you just shake it up a little bit and then redistributes it. But they sell the skim milk, whole milk, and cream.
so how does it taste? Can you taste the difference?
Tastes like milk.
Really?
Yep.
So and I'm lactose. So in our house we drink straight almond milk.
Okay.
Because of the lactose intolerant, like I am, my wife, my kids, we all are.
Oh, okay.
So
wow.
I'm gonna have to try it. I love milk.
Well, don't blame me if you end up having
No,
a reaction. I am not a medical doctor, but
well, it's not
but
bad.
it's some of the things they add to mass-produced milk.
Yeah, that
Sometimes
affects
it's-
how
yep,
we. I know. I
how you
understand
process.
100%.
Yeah. So check it out because that's we're really excited about this vendor. They've been coming in. And again, you have to pre-order it, but you can actually put in your order for the next week at the market if you come in. But people have loved it. They have great customers, loyal customers already who come in at 9:30 specifically for that.
So for the pre-order stuff like the beef and the milk, is it a week ahead of time, or like was there a cutoff date to when you have to have your orders in?
Actually, for the milk specifically, I like to give them at least a 24 hours notice. So I
Okay.
try to get my order in on Thursday night at the latest. They will take it even up through Friday as long as they get your notification before they go out the next day to milk. They give you a confirmation text Friday night so that they got their order. If it's a beef product or something else that has to be processed like that, then I would try to get it a couple weeks in advance.
Okay,
because
gotcha.
they have to, for example, Wild Earth, Texas, they take their beef to a USDA inspected facility. So they're having to go, travel, have their meat processed, and then they have to go pick it up and bring it back. So it's a little bit longer process.
Because it is difficult because I like to barbecue a lot, and it's difficult getting specific cuts of meats that you want when it's time to barbecue. So it's good to know I can couple of weeks in advance, a month in advance, say on this day, can you have this? And, and just know it's there instead of having to rummage through HEB, picking through it. I mean, no offense to that, but, you have to pick through trying to find the good cuts, and you got some raggedy cut of steak that you don't even want.
Well, and that's the fun thing with our vendors is they're doing this because they have a passion for what they do. So they take a lot of pride. If you tell Rachel or the Genses, if you tell James, hey, I'm looking for this particular thing or this cut, or I'm doing this party or this barbecue and this is what I want, they get excited and they try to pull out the best items for you. And you may be able to show up on Saturday and actually have a particular ask and they have it, but just
I don't want to show up and my feelings get hurt though.
That's the thing. That's the thing. If you want some
I was
specific,
looking
ask
for liver
ahead.
the other day. Nobody had it.
Yeah.
You struck a chord with me when you said liver. People
Oh.
think I grew up eating beef liver, liver and onions. I grew up eating it, but I can't find anybody that could cook it. Like my grandmother used to cook it. And I love liver. My wife thinks I'm crazy for eating it.
Well,
Only other place that cooks it is Luby's that I would eat it from.
That's exactly. I used to only get it at Luby's,
Luby's,
but
yeah.
now I buy liver from both of our vendors, and it's fabulous.
Really? I'm going to have to go get some then.
Y'all are going to get in a fight with whoever gets the last.
I bet it's not a lot of people getting the liver over there.
That's
so.
true.
Well, one thing, and maybe because I'm board president, I want everybody to understand also is because we have the cottage food laws, and we have now this milk that we're able to sell as a drop-off. we're very careful to follow the city health department codes. And, not only do we visit our farms, but we adhere to the city health department. And we want everybody to know that, because we try to be as safe as we can out there. And we know we're handling a lot of raw foods, and it's important that people know that we're protecting them as well as our vendors.
And I think like that mentioned, just circling back around, is the biggest thing is, you say you're a farmer's market, but you could go back to everybody that that y'all visited these facilities, so as well that you can vouch for their cleanliness, making sure they're following all the health guidelines that they're required to follow, on top of what you guys are doing to make sure y'all up to code at the farmer's market itself.
Well, and we took in November of 2019, most of our growers, including myself, spent 8 hours taking a produce safety class and being certified.
Okay.
So we're staying on top of things as the state demands and requires.
That was produce. That's a state-sponsored program.
It is. We pay for it, but
Yeah. Well, not sponsored,
Yes.
but it's a state program.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to be on vacation this weekend. We're going on vacation. Next weekend, I'm going to start putting some orders in tonight. I ain't got nothing to do at work until 4 o'clock in the morning. So, because I love fresh foods and I love cooking. And me and my wife, we cook a lot. And we try, you try to eat healthy. So seeing these different types of vegetables, different things to cook with, kind of just brings that more of excitement to your meals, instead of just cooking the same thing all the time with onions and bell peppers.
And it's fun to cook for other people, too, because then you have that whole story of, I got this from the farmer's market from James or David or whomever that you got it from. Then you have that story, you have that conversation that goes along with it. I do want to say, too, we've been talking a lot about food, which is the biggest part of the farmer's market.
So other options.
But
okay,
I would feel so bad if we
we're
left out.
We're going to transition away from food, and let's talk about some other things that you could get at the farmer's market.
So you can even get pottery.
Pottery,
at the farmer's market. We have Cindy with us, who I think's been with us from the very beginning, right? And some great soap products. So Botanicals is out there, and they've got a whole range soap. Both bars, liquid hand soap, dish soap even. The beard balm came in. That was a new item just this last week.
I'm a sucker for I have 8
so
beard balms.
Oh, no. Dang, I wish I would have known. I could have brought you a gift.
Well, what we might do is get you out there one day with all your 8 beard balms.
Do a test.
And test them.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for natural products.
Yep.
So I'll buy it. So
Those people that have the coffee things set up right there, right when you walk up.
Yep, Graham.
Yep, that's a really, really good place to have that guy set up.
Oh, yeah. Because you can actually...
That's some good coffee.
It is good coffee, and he actually roasts that himself, too, here in Southeast Texas. So you can actually you can sneak a cup of coffee from Graham before 8 o'clock. If he's up and ready to go, then... Because we get a line start, and sometimes we get some people who want to get in there and shop right away, but we hold off until 8, just because a lot of times we have vendors driving through the market to be able to
just
go set up.
reasons.
So it's safety, and then let them have time to set up. But if Graham's got his coffee ready at 7:45, you can sneak a cup of coffee. That's
the first place I stop when you walk in. Walk right there, get your cup of coffee, and then go about your business.
We got Graham, and then we also have Miles, who does locally roasted coffee here.
They got a little bit of everything. So if somebody
really
wants
do.
to come to the farmer's market, what time do they need to show up?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's when the line starts forming at 8
That's when
o'clock.
the line starts. Forming.
Actually, it started at 7 o'clock this past week, but you get there, it'll open at 8. You probably won't miss too much at 8.
Yeah,
They've pretty much made a pretty good point tonight. That thing is going to start at 8 o'clock, and they're not getting in before 8 o'clock.
No.
So you can stand in line if you want. You could breathe behind somebody's neck all you want, but you ain't getting there till 8.
You can meditate, come in at 7:30 and meditate while you wait in line.
I got used to being kind of the 6 foot apart person, so I've really ramped up my skills of saying you can't do that right now.
Yeah, you got to have an authority figure.
Yeah. And if you are looking for something specific, now if you have an order with one of our vendors and they're holding something for you and you're going to get there 8 to 11, that's great. But if you don't have a pre-order and you're looking for something specific, I would get there 8 to 9 by 9:30. Sometimes if it's a popular item like okra is in right now.
Let's not talk about okra. Me and my wife have a battle over okra. She just cooked the first pot of okra, and I didn't eat one bit of it.
Oh, no.
You don't like
why
okra?
not?
Oh.
I like the.
I find that to be rude.
I don't know if we can be friends.
It's a real not right thing to say in South. I love the taste of it, but it's just I don't know, something happened when I was a kid. It was like a stick in it. It just stuck with me. It's like a hard piece, and it just stuck with me forever, and I can't get over it.
Well,
But anyway, we're not going to get on the okra thing. But
They have
okra,
therapy for that, you know.
therapy. Okra therapy.
Yep.
No, I think one thing that's changed over the years too is it used to be we have to be there right at 8 o'clock or everything's gone. Our growers are growing more produce.
Okay, and
We
that's what I was saying. So people
Yeah.
don't have to fear if they have something to go do. If they get there at 8, it's good
Oh,
chances
yeah.
they still could get there at night,
Absolutely.
get some good stuff. Okay.
9,
Absolutely.
10, yeah, they can show up at 10. I always encourage our new shoppers to take a walk all the way around the market. Just do a circle and see what it's all there, and then go again, get a cup of coffee from Graham, and
that was you kind of went into my next question. Is like, how does someone prevent themselves from being overwhelmed? Because you know what I'm saying? Because like you can go in there and be like, oh man, I don't know where to start, what to
Make
get.
a list.
Make a list.
Just like when you go to the grocery store.
Okay.
Think about what you're going to cook that week and make a list.
That's a good point. Shop for what you're going to cook that
Right.
week and not just
Yes.
going there and trying to buy everything. But like you said, you could actually look at the vendors. Then you can prepare for the things that you want to specifically go to and look at. So
yeah. And if you go in looking, say you want a vegetable for a particular meal that week, and if you go in and you think you want squash, but they don't have it that day, then ask, okay, hey, what I needed something to go along with a meat item. What would you suggest? Do you have something to recommend? And then you get in that conversation with that
Okay.
vendor.
it sounds like a fun place.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun, and I think that's another reason why you shop a farmer's market is it's fun.
Yep. And you got to be careful when you go out there too if you're really hungry.
Oh,
See, that's the thing.
Every time I go out
I fast every day till 12 o'clock. So I don't eat till 12 o'clock. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, you would be toast the minute you passed the baked pie place.
Yeah.
Man.
We have a vendor
Hold
that
on,
does
baked pies?
handheld
every single
baked
time I
pies.
go out there, it's immediately after being at the gym since 7 a.m.
Oh, no.
and working out and coaching and doing all kind of things. I get out there about 10, starving to death, and I come home with all kinds of big
Yeah, that's
bags
the
of
thing, like, I
tomatoes
don't-
and all kind of stuff.
We love you. We love shoppers like
come
you.
to the farmer's market hungry and leave a happy person is
Exactly.
what you're saying.
Exactly.
Well, and I guess maybe I'll throw this out just if it sticks with somebody out there. And again, like I said, we follow all the health department rules. But if somebody's out there that has a healthy food product that they want to sell out there, a juice or a breakfast in a food truck, as long as we're going through the health department and everything's up and up, we're open to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So on the website, beaumontfarmersmarket.org, you can find an inquiry form. So if you think you may have an item that could be sold at the farmer's market, then you can submit a form there. We'll reach back out to you, do some back and forth
Vetting.
questions.
Okay.
Yep, and see where we're at.
Okay, yeah, people don't just show up there with your produce.
No.
We have a vetting.
Yeah.
They have a vetting process that they
Yeah.
go to
We
make sure
will
this stuff
not
is.
accept you the day of the market.
No, we will turn you away.
So, kind of, what do you guys see as the long-term goal for the Beaumont Farmers Market? What do you see it 5-10 years from now going on?
Wow.
Even more of a community staple, I would say. We are looking at ways to grow the market, so we're getting really close to being maxed on the number of vendors, just space-wise, where we're currently located, and we want to stay in that place because we talked earlier, great traffic, especially on a Saturday. It's great for our vendors to be able to pull through. It's covered. So really just continuing to grow the number of vendors as much as we safely can in the space that we have, and the types of products that we have available to our shoppers, and then really getting the word out, especially with, like we mentioned, that SNAP program. That is a huge asset to our community to be able to make food more accessible to everybody in our community and give them that whole farmers market experience. I think is just going to be really exciting to see where we go in the next year or two for sure.
Well, and this is really reaching, but we need to have future farmers. And
It's
That's true.
it's reaching, but it's a reality.
it's
Yep.
a reality.
It's reality is what we need to get back to, you know what I'm saying, local and eating fresh and being a healthier society.
So we belong to an organization called the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance, and they lobby for farmers and food vendors. And there's a lot of things that we can do in working with them that could help educate our growers and encourage smaller farmers to grow more and become more involved in their communities. And that's something I would like to see us do.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I could see a farmer being a dying trade in a way with the way the world's evolving these days. You know, unless I don't see a lot of kids. I see so many kids walking around on their electronic devices and stuff. They're not researching how to grow tomatoes.
Yep. We really want to see those younger farmers, ranchers come up. It's interesting, though. We have that started a little bit, but we need to continue to grow that. We mentioned Lone Star Sustainable Farm earlier. So you'll see, if you come out, you'll see Tommy on Saturdays who's selling, but it's actually his son, Caleb, who's in his mid-20s, who's running the farm. Every day of the week. It's just Tommy gives him a break on Saturdays and comes and sells for him. But continuing to grow those
and even if you don't want to be a farmer, but continue to support your local farmers.
Right.
Understanding like, hey, I could go to this location, get this from this farm. I don't have to go to Walmart. I don't have to go to HEB. I could keep everything local and grow my local community and just make a difference that way.
Yep.
That's
one
right.
of our board members, actually, one of her goals for her family has been to be pretty much sustained food-wise with the farmers market. And because we've now brought in milk, they're pretty much self-sustained as far as food items at the farmers market or by purchasing from the vendors who come to the market.
Dang.
Where's my wife? I hope my wife is listening. We're going to make a pledge. We only shop, not only shop from, but to make a more of a conscious effort to support. You know, we always talk about it, but it's making that commitment to actually going out there doing. I think it's just one of those things to where you just have to take a step.
Yeah.
Like you take a step into that world and it's like you just jump off a cliff. Oh, I'm here. This is it now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about eating healthy, and food just tastes a lot better. Remember, I worked the rodeo one year and I talked to a guy and he says, I come here every year, support the kids, and I buy cattle and I get it made fresh. And he say, son, he was an older guy. I say, son, Trevor, you'll never want to buy food. You'll never want to buy meat from HEB again. He says it's a completely different taste, completely different thing. So
That's true. And it's a lot of changing habits, you know, saying you want to make this goal of shopping locally. It's not really hard to do, but we just have such a habit. You know, we're creatures of habit.
a habit.
We
yeah.
know we can go to any of the major grocery stores and I can walk in. I know what their hours are. I know where they're located. I know they're going to have these items. So it's just changing our habits to know when the farmer's market is, where it's located, and what are the seasonal items I'm going to cook with now. So
I mean, because let's be honest, back in the day, you didn't have strawberries all year round.
Exactly.
You ate strawberries.
That's right.
Exactly.
You ate these foods when they was in season, and they could grow, and you harvest the stuff. It wasn't just walk into the store and get whatever you want.
Exactly.
Well, and we waste so much food. If you just look in your refrigerator, I
Vegetables
made
we
a
waste.
bolognese, and I thought, I don't have any pasta, but I had spaghetti squash. And so maybe not my husband's favorite, but he ate it. So, you know, it works. Instead of wasting that or using it for another meal, and then in a package of pasta is too much for us anyway. There's just two of us in our house.
Yeah,
So
so
this was much better.
So that's a lot of good information about the farmers market. So reiterate again, time, location, the website, and just all the general information you have of how can people get involved with the farmers market and just get out there and do stuff.
Well, we need volunteers.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great thing, but Rebekah needs help on Saturdays, and so we have volunteers from 7 till 9, 9 to 11, help set up, greet vendors, greet customers, help vendors if they need any help. You get a little, if you're the early bird shift, you get to shop a little early,
Okay.
which is nice, and often the vendors will discount our volunteers when they go through. Photography,
Yeah.
you take great pictures, but we have a man who comes and takes pictures and then he'll send them to us. And it's just a whole different perspective of somebody else taking the pictures.
So how old does the volunteers have to be?
Pretty much any age, as long as they can take care of themselves. If I don't have to, I'm not babysitting on Saturdays.
Don't be
but-
jumping your kids off the bait. Rebecca's
Yeah,
not
no,
babysitting.
I'm not babysitting,
Not
but
babysitting.
you know, if we have a mature teenager, senior, junior, senior in high school, I think that would be okay as long as they can they can behave themselves,
Yep.
I would say.
We have a
And-
lot of kids, seniors in high school, looking to get those volunteer hours.
Yep,
and what
exactly.
better way? So.
Yep.
Right.
And we actually have a teenager who's one of our vendors. Like I said, Graham is the one making coffee for you.
Yep.
So, but otherwise, we're located on College Street every single Saturday, 8 to 11. We're at the athletic complex between Langham and Dowling. So College Street, easy to get to, good parking. You pretty much have a good parking spot wherever you're at. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and BeaumontFarmersMarket.org.
And if you shop with us and you don't have time to volunteer, you could just be an advocate and talk about us to your friends.
Share it.
Yes.
Share
it.
the Facebook page.
Share this
the Facebook
podcast. Share, yep.
There you go.
But you know, I think what people need to understand too about going to the farmers market is the whole experience of it. You know, I mean, there's so many people out there to talk to, and all those vendors. You can go up to any one of them and just talk to them. I like talking to them about how they grow their produce.
Right.
You know, and they're all an open book. They'll just sit there and talk to you until somebody else comes
And
up.
that's me. I'm a customer service guy. I like to talk to people. I like to know what's going on, where you got that from. So that fits right in my mode. You go to the store, ask the guy, "Hey man, where's the fruit?" They don't even have the time. They don't even know where the stuff at in the store.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. You're right.
yeah,
It
it's a
is.
good experience.
It's a good experience. It's a happy experience for people. Again, just going back full circle to the very beginning, Sarah and I just wanted something for our community that was positive and that could bring in everybody, no matter who you are, what you're doing.
Well,
Y'all
I
done a
would
good
say 10 years. It's a staple now in the community.
We
and
hope
that's
so.
and that's a good thing. No, 10 years. You don't accidentally be around for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You must be doing something good in the community to last that long. Because you can see it's a lot of things. A lot of restaurants open up. A lot of people bring ideas to Beaumont that just don't happen. But the fact that you've been around for 10 years, you must be doing something good to bring people coming back.
I might cry.
So, so with that being said, so it's one last question we always leave out. We always leave to the people. It's nothing I send beforehand. Just kind of get an answer for both of y'all. Real short and sweet, about 15 seconds each. So, always ask. We'll start with Rebekah. What was your final thoughts or words of wisdom you leave for the people in regards to just anything?
I'm so glad I've listened to your podcast before, so I
So
was
you
ready
knew,
for
okay?
this.
She was ready, okay.
Because you always prime it with, I never tell anybody. So when I was like, oh, he hasn't asked us about that yet. Okay. So what I kind of thought, I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, so I was thinking about this the last few days, like, what am I going to say? And what I would say is, whatever you're doing, give it 110%. It doesn't matter, not for anybody else, for you. Because anything I've ever done in life, if I've given it 110%, it doesn't matter what happens.
Because you gave your all.
Yep,
You gave your effort.
exactly.
You know I didn't put my best foot forward in this, and whatever comes out happens.
Exactly.
That's good. All right. Did you prom?
I forgot to. I meant
okay,
to
that's
text
good.
you, actually.
No.
Really, I thought about
But
this yesterday,
But
and I meant to
she
text you.
seemed
But
like
I went first.
You seem
so.
like you filled with a lot of good stories. So I know
She
you got
is,
something good
yeah,
for us.
she didn't need to be primed.
I would say that wherever you live, no matter how long you're in that location, plant a seed
There you
and
go.
watch it grow.
See that? You can take that plenty different ways, but that's a good one. So I would like to thank you guys again for coming out on the show. Once again, you can find these guys Beaumont Farmers Market on Facebook. Check out the website BeaumontFarmersMarket.org. Go visit them Saturday mornings on College Street from 8 to 11. There's a litany of products, fresh produce that they really vet these people, and you really know what you're getting in that sense. So once again, you can check us out on Masters of Fitness Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your media, we're there. We're in your face somewhere. You got anything else for the people with that?
No, just go out there and visit the farmers market and go talk to some people. That's my suggestion. You'll enjoy yourself, I promise you.
So your perfect Saturday. I'm outlining a perfect Saturday for the people, Thad.
Yeah, outline.
Perfect
tell 'em.
Saturday. Go to Thad's endurance class, 8:30 to 10, and then go to the farmers market.
Yep.
Or you could go to the farmers market, then come to the 10 o'clock class. So whatever you want to do, and we're literally right around the corner from the
we're
farmers
not
market.
a quarter mile away from there.
So just make your whole Saturday a healthy place by going shop before or after a workout. Just go over there and pick up your healthy foods.
You can feel better about that cinnamon roll.
better
you
about
pick
that
up.
cinnamon roll, yeah.
I'm going to suggest you shop first, but bring a cooler.
Bring a
So
cooler?
we go to
Yes.
that endurance class at 10 o'clock.
So,
There you go.
so now you make a good point. Me, my ignorant self, will roll up there with no bags and wondering I got all this stuff and now what the heck I'm gonna do with it. So bring a cooler, And so vendors don't supply shopping bags.
They do.
Okay.
They do, but we love seeing reusable bags.
Okay.
That's just part of the culture of the farmers market.
So people out there, don't show up there, with your reusable bags. Show up there with your coolers and just bring stuff out that way. It's all welcome.
Yep.
All right. So thank you guys for joining the show. Thank you for listening out there.
Cue the cool drop.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.